Hi, I want to come here today. My name is Annie Thiel. I'm chair of Malibu Global Awareness, which supports Doctors Without Borders. Doctors Without Borders does emergency medical work around the world. The last tsunami, they totally did the logistics for that. They saved lives throughout the countries of the world. In 2007, when we were planning a gala and we had everything in place, we suddenly realized that we didn't really have our IT systems in place. We were a little panicked. We had celebrities like Powers Booth, and Elliot Gould, and we had Rick Springfield. We had all the entertainment, but we didn't have our IT set up. I was speaking with our charity accountant, Randy Goggins, and he said, you know, we have a young man that we know very well. I think he could probably help you. Well, I thought when Randy spoke to me that he was speaking about, you know, some kid in graduate school or some young person in their mid-20s or so who, you know, was a computer expert. So he put me in touch with Andrew, and I called him up. I still didn't realize he was so young. He was 17. And I arranged the meeting in my office, and when I met him, I thought, oh my goodness, he's so young. You know, can he do this? This is a pretty big thing that we need done. We need a website set up. We need to put be able to have people put their credit cards on the website and be able to purchase their tickets for this event. And we need all kinds of help. And I sat there and I listened to this brilliant boy, this young boy who knew more about computers than almost anyone I knew. I thought, this is amazing. He suggested this, and this. The next time we met, he had the whole website put together. I'm talking about putting a website together. I don't know how many of you have those kind of IT skills. It's pretty impressive to me. 17. Then he went on to show us how we could have, you know, the website set together and get the charge cards on there and be able to sell our tickets. And he shepherded us through that whole IT process, through the gala. This young kid. And he did such a fine job. And with that fundraiser that Andrew really took care of all the IT for, which set up all the IT in the future, with that one fundraiser, we were able to make $500,000 for Doctors Without Borders, which paid for thousands of operations, food, water, tents, survival for thousands and thousands of people throughout the world. He had incredible talent. I mean, really unusual, gifted talent. He went on to help us in future years, and I would say we're near the $1 million mark now. And Andrew set us up. He set us up and running with the IT. Most of us on our board are older ladies and gentlemen that weren't born into the IT world. And, you know, this was kind of hard for us. But this young man really knew what he was doing. He was so talented. Now, he has had a brief life, but he was a life of giftedness that in that one time affected thousands of people around the world. And I wanted to share that with you and share the fact that he gave his gift. And I was thinking about what could I read today to really, what has been written about such a young man. I know when I was talking with Andrew and I was aware of how athletic he was, and he told me about his family and how much his mother and father loved helping other people, and how he had learned generosity from the time he was young. And so I went looking for something last night, and I found this poem I want to read to you. This poem is an old poem, written in 1860 by A.E. Housman, a poem called "To an Athlete Dying Young." And it doesn't just mean athlete in terms of cycling or skateboarding or climbing mountains or diving deep. This poem, I think, Housman wrote meaning to the person who runs a race of some kind. A person who has giftedness and maybe uses them in the short time instead of the long time. And Andrew used his giftedness, and he's an extremely bright, gifted child. He used his giftedness in a short time, and that's what Housman refers to in this poem. So I would like to read it to you. To an athlete dying young. The time you won your town the race, we cheered you through the marketplace. Men and boys stood cheering by, and home we brought you shoulder high. Today, the road all runners come, shoulder high we bring you home. And set you at your threshold down, townsman of a stiller town, on your way to God. Smart lad to slip betimes away from fields where glory does not stay. And early through the laurel grows, it withers quicker than the rose. Eyes the shade night has shut, cannot see the record cut, and silence sounds no worse than cheers after earth has stopped the ears. Now you will not swell the root, cannot see the record cut of lads that wore their honors out, runners whose renown outran and the name died before the man. So set before its echoes fade, the fleet foot on the sill of shade, and hold to the low line up the still defended challenge cup. And round that early laureled head will flock to gaze the strengthless dead, and find unwithered the sharp garland, briefer but well run and
Okay, now I want to boast just a little. He did win the computer science award in his senior year of high school, so he was quite gifted with IT and computer work.